Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon, and we're going to talk about the AAA gaming industry. We're going to talk about Square Enix, which used to be one of my favorite video game companies, and how far they've fallen. They continue to fall. They basically fell into I believe, the DEI-infested waters of wokeness. Oh my God, can I say that? And they've alienated gamers. They've alienated their core audience time after time. And they've been bleeding out money for years. And now they're trying to pivot. They're trying to, I believe, course correct in the fact that they're bringing their games out for other platforms. They're not Sony exclusive anymore. And they also fired a bunch of people in California. But I think it's too late for them. I think, it's going to be death by a thousand cuts. I think they were already kind of in trouble before the quote-unquote woke mind virus, took over the company, because they're based in California, right? The U.S. office is in California. It's actually close to the L.A. airport. I know, last couple times I flew into L.A. There it is. It's on the way in, on the way out. So yeah, they're going to be affected by all of that California-ness, that Newsomness. More so, I think, than companies that, maybe have an office in like Texas or something, anywhere but Austin. But let's talk about this. Their stock plummeted. That's what's prompting this video. And there's been a lot of talk about AAA studios imploding. And actually, Notch, who is the creator of Minecraft, put out a tweet today that he said, unless you count Bethesda as AAA, he said he doesn't remember the last time he played a AAA game. And Shattered Space made me want to quit Bethesda too. Thankfully, the video game industry is doing just fine. Just play indie games. That's true. Indie games are going to replace these studios, and they did it to themselves. I mean, it's so weird. I'm seeing indie games that feel more like, or that feel more authentic to these franchises, and they might be sort of an homage to these franchises. And I'm seeing a lot more of that lately, than that they're actually better than the real deal, because the real deal has fallen off tremendously. And we'll talk about Square and wokeness and their stock. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, go out to clownfishminus.com. Check out our merch. Join our Plus Club. You get some exclusive podcasts and some other stuff. We're still working out a game plan here, what we're going to do. But you guys have been awesome. And the better we do, the more we can offer you, because we're going to have to buy that time. Does that make sense? We have to kind of buy that time and maybe hire some help or something. So yeah, thank you very much. We don't do endless live streams. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just not us. So this is kind of what we're going to do instead of that. So this is coming from Game Rant, and if you check out my Twitter, I've been posting the DRes articles actually on my personal Twitter, because I'm like, why am I starting another account to post articles? We got some interns helping us compile news, but I do go over it before we publish it. So hopefully everything's accurate. But yeah, they're really dropping off here. This is coming from Game Rant. Square Enix stock plummets after disappointing Q3 earnings. 10%. They plummeted over 10% on November 11th. The decline is attributed to the company's latest financial report, which revealed a 27% year-on-year operating profit decline in Q3 2024. While Square's income for the 6-month period ending September 2024 was still up compared to a year ago, investors seem to be skeptical about the near-term prospects. Well, here's a pro tip. Don't take 10 years to make a new Final Fantasy game that's underwhelming. You know what I'm saying? I am totally fine with Square going back to PS2, PS3 level graphics and giving us more games. Because it seems like what they're doing is they're falling into that AAA trap of, we've got to give gamers the bestest graphics ever. Screw the story, screw the gameplay, and we're going to double up, triple up, quadruple up on the politics and drive them away anyway by the time the game comes out. And Square's done that. I mean, they've done everything from heavy-handed virtue signaling on social media. They had Forspoken. That whole thing was woke, for lack of a better term. Things got so bad with them that they actually had to sell off Crystal Dynamics, and they sold off Tomb Raider and the Marvel IP. They shut that down. That was a huge chain around their neck. And then we had, we thought, well, maybe they learned a lesson. No, we'll talk about the censorship of Dragon Quest III, the remake, and they haven't learned anything. Final Fantasy VII, the remake, they've, again, seeing a common theme here. Remake, also remake, another remake. Hey, we're bringing an old game back out again for the 15th time. I'd love to see new 16-bit style Final Fantasies or PS1 style Final Fantasies. They got the Gooch back to do, what was it, Fantasia? Whatever that series is called. They're going to be releasing that. I mean, you could have been doing that all along. You could go back to old franchises you've let atrophy. I would like to see if you're going to do HD remakes, where the hell is Vagrant Story? Where's Threads of Fate? Where's, what I'm saying? They outsource Front Mission to another company, I think. Why not another Parasite Eve? Horror games are incredibly popular right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have all this stuff they're sitting on, they're not doing anything with. But yeah, Square stock plummeted 10 points on Monday. The company lost the equivalent of hundreds of millions of dollars in market cap, with this turn of events likely being prompted by Square Enix reporting some mixed financial results. That is part of it. Gamers are actively choosing not to play Square games now, and they keep stepping in it. Square's operating profit has been on the decline since its 2022 peak. The Japanese gaming giant's latest financial report suggests that this trend might have finally reversed, with the companies reporting that it generated $136 million profit, a 22% year-on-year increase. Well, they also started selling like Kingdom Hearts on Steam, and they started selling a lot of their different franchises on Steam after being Sony exclusive. But it's not enough, right? You're putting a Band-Aid on a gaping flesh wound. Their stock still declined by over 10% by the close of trade at the Tokyo Stock Exchange on Monday. Some Japan-based industry watchers speculate this development can be attributed to a number of troubling figures contained in the company's financials. Although the operating profit for the reported 6-month period has increased year on year, has been most recently on a heavy decline, falling 27%. Combined with the fact that Square's premium game sales are down year over year, this decline might be what prompted the investor sell-off that caused the company's stock to decline. They lost $350 million in market cap since the start of November. Holy shit. They were valued at $4.68 billion US based on stock price. The weekend after its latest consolidated financial report was published, the valuation was approximately $350 million lower. While stock prices aren't always perfectly reflective of a company's current health, they do indicate investor sentiment. Investors don't seem to be optimistic about Square Enix's near-term prospects. The latest earnings report did not include a sales update on Final Fantasy XVI, which they said underperformed. The JRPG also had a somewhat quiet PC launch after finally reaching Steam back in September. They said the Final Fantasy XVI sold 3 million copies on the PS5, but that was during launch week. According to an average of third-party estimates by Gamealytic, PlayTracker, and VG Insights, the game sold roughly 289,000 units on Steam. That's it? That's fucking depressing. For Final Fantasy, Square, you have lost the fucking plot. Like, you have lost the plot. I mean, Square hasn't been Square. They haven't been Square Soft in over 20 years, right? And they definitely changed. When they merged with Enix, they definitely changed. And they think too much like a Western company. They need to think more like a Japanese company. I mean, I would be totally fine with them just cranking out 16-bit, 32-bit RPGs. That's what they were known for. And go back to that, right? And they keep dabbling with this AAA Western shit that doesn't sell, and it just drags the whole company down. They said moving forward, they intend to try reinvigorating the declining game sales by moving away from exclusivity. And they're going to aggressively pursue this non-exclusive strategy. Before that happens, the developer will release at least one more PS5 exclusive, the final entry in the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy. So it is a trilogy. I thought it was going to be 4 games. So look, this is a problem too. The wokeness. I'm sorry. It's staring you right in the fucking face. Tifa's tits is indicative. They're indicative of a much larger issue. And I know that some people at the company have been, they've been talking to Square in California. And now this Japanese company is starting to sound more like a Portland company. They're like, well, we didn't realize that American gamers wanted it. No, they don't. American gamers don't want this shit. Your activist employees in California are telling you this. And the same thing's happening with Capcom too. You're listening to these activists in California trying to tell you what they think America wants. And that's not what America actually wants. You got to look at the sales. You got to look at the numbers. What you're doing is not working. All these companies are going to learn very, very painful lessons. And I don't know if they're going to survive. A lot of these AAA studios are not going to survive. They're going to wind up being consolidated or something. But when you've got indie titles like Pal World and Black Myth Wukong, and even, I guess you kind of sort of consider Stellar Blade, I guess, they're kicking your ass. They're kicking your asses because all they're doing is just giving gamers what they want. It's not hard. I mean, seriously, Square should be leading the pack. Like, Square knows how to make good RPGs. They know what gamers want, both in Japan and in the West, but they refuse to give it to them. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know who the fuck thought it was a great idea to listen to California, because that's not where it's at. You got to look at the numbers. Look at what other people are doing. You look at the highest selling games. You look at what they're doing. It's called basic market research. Why are they not doing this? Well, I think part of it is they're starting to wake up. These different studios, not Square necessarily, but these other studios are starting to wake up and they're like, why are we getting our asses kicked? Why did we throw $200, $300 million at this game and it failed? Well, what are gamers actually playing? Seriously, just go do some basic market research. Unless your marketing people are DEI hires, and they don't know what the fuck they're actually doing. Just go look at the marketing research. What do people actually want? What is selling? Which games have actually stood the test of time? What indie titles are really hot right now? Maybe we should do something like that. People like boobs in games. Okay, let's give Tifa a flat chest. Let's cover her up more. Well, you know what I'm saying? Stupid shit like that. I mean, at that point, you actually fucking deserve it. It's not hard. This is not hard. Same with comic books. Same with movies. All you got to do is give people what they want instead of trying to lecture them as to what you think they should want. And it's a very small subset of people. And again, these activists that you hire, Western activists, California, Portland, whatever, New York. I don't think New Yorkers that crazy, but definitely California, definitely Portland. And these people are trying to tell Japan what to do, I think, and it's backfiring. And a lot of those people got fired, but it's going to take them years. It's going to take them years to course correct. They can't do this overnight. They can't change overnight. And they're going to continue to just fold. I mean, again, when you've got the publisher, the editor of Shonen Jump, and one of the co-creators of Dragon Quest going on a podcast and saying that they don't understand why they're censoring characters from Dragon Quest from 30 plus years ago. They thought it was stupid. That's a signal to gamers that, don't buy this game. It's going to be edited. It's going to be woke. And they're not. The Japanese think it's stupid. Why the fuck are you listening to California? California is burning down in real time. Now Newsom's saying some weird shit. I don't know what is going on. Look, this is coming from a guy who spent half his childhood there. I loved California back in the day. I loved it. But don't listen to them. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. It's seriously, you've got to clean house. You've got to, I believe, release more games, higher quality games from a gameplay standpoint that maybe aren't the most expensive games, but they play well. And they appeal to gamers. And again, you can skate by with 16, 32-bit graphics. You can skate by with PS2, PS3 level graphics, as long as the game is good. I mean, hell, everybody's going back and playing old games anyway. You don't have to. Why dump $300 million into a game that's going to take 8 years to develop? You might not be in business in 8 years. Square used to put out they would put out so many great RPGs every year. I mean, consistently good product every quarter. You got 99 and 2000 especially. They had, I think it was the Summer of Adventure, and they had like a new RPG, and they were all like top shelf RPGs, and they had like a new one every month. And some of those games they've re-released multiple times. They're so good. Except for Vagrant Story. Where the fuck is Vagrant Story? But like, you lost the plot, guys. You really did. And I don't know if they can fix it. You know, remaking Final Fantasy VII 20 years after you told people you were going to remake it, and then making it 3 different games over the span of a decade or whatever. I mean, seriously? And it's not even a 1-to-1 remake. I don't know what to tell you. You're not going to be in business much longer if you don't fix it. Just my opinion. I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later. Join the reef. Go to clownfishminus.com. That's clownfishminus.com. You will get exclusive access to podcasts and videos and comic strips and more, as well as merch discounts. Check it out. If you were a member, you could get this t-shirt, this dismal t-shirt, on our website. You'd get a 10% discount on that. You can also join in the community on clownfishminus.com. Thank you so much for the support.